I think one of the biggest reasons why us console owners trade up and get new consoles every 5 to 7 years, one of the biggest reasons is obviously the graphics. We all want better graphics. We know that's what comes with new console hardware. That's exactly why we upgrade. Obviously, the games are a big part of it, but let's be real, graphics really kind of showcasing what these new consoles can do is something that's very attractive, and one of the major reasons that we all kind of upgrade and, you know, just sort of do the things that we do. And I think that with next generation, you have Phil Spencer on one side saying, hey, you know, don't expect this huge leap, and then you have what we saw at the PlayStation 5 event be kind of the opposite, where you could definitely tell there was quite a leap there, particularly like what we saw with Spider-Man and Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West. Huge advancements there, and the same thing with like Ratchet and Clank. We're seeing these advancements that we didn't think possible. That's what next gen's all about. Eurogamer talked about it, broke it down. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with yet another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I really do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel, and it means a lot to me personally. And if you guys wouldn't mind, you know, hit the bell so you're notified of all the content. I do daily content. You know, it's always kind of zany or crazy or wacky or whatever, but I do have fun doing this stuff, and I gotta say, it continues to be a lot of fun for me, and I love doing it. So thank you guys. Quick shout out to all the new subscribers that I have. You guys are great. If you ever want to reach me, new subscribers, old subscribers, whoever, at @the_Crapgamer on Twitter, on Xbox Live, MOH space Crapgamer, on PSN, just Crapgamer, and I try to respond to everybody. If you got something you want to share, topic maybe you want me to cover, a article or something, or some inside information, what have you, yes, please, by all means, go ahead and do that. I would love to hear from you. I think you guys are awesome. I love interacting with all you guys. It's so much fun. So with that being said, I do want to get into what I was talking about, and that is Horizon Forbidden West. And that Decima engine has evolved for the PlayStation 5. And this is on Eurogamer. They did an extensive breakdown of what we saw. And I have to be honest, it sounds absolutely incredible. This generational leap that they're talking about sounds really, really almost impossible that they were able to accomplish this. But yet, here we are. They've accomplished it. I will link this article. You guys can check it out for yourself. But I wanted to cover some of the better parts for you. They're talking about, you know, what you can see in there. You know, actual foliage density is in the area where Guerrilla is making strides with Horizon Forbidden West, because in the original game the focus on detail is mostly in the foreground surrounding Aloy, with shadow maps. Detail and overall load cut drastically further into the distance. They really can't wait to see how this changes later on for Death Stranding, because as you guys know, that used the Decima engine for PC as well. The priority changed since the game has less foliage, which is expensive to render. Foliage wasn't so dense, but perhaps because of that, more of it could be rendered further into the mid-distance, and even smaller elements like rocks closer to the camera received an upgrade in details. Horizon Forbidden West essentially delivers a quote-unquote best of both worlds scenario, and then some. Texture detail and mesh density is on the upper end scale compared to Death Stranding, but there's a great technological leap brought about by AMD's generational leap in rendering power, meaning more foliage pushed out further into the distance. Even smaller scale detail is retained further away from the camera. Even casting high precision shadows compared in contrast with the original Horizon. Here, shadow maps tended to be of a rather low resolution unless they were immediately next to the player camera. This generational change of asset detail and shadow detail is best seen in the closing shot of the trailer, where you can see swaying foliage moving far out into the distance. So they're saying, hey, on the old version, like on PS4 Pro and stuff like that, you could see rich detail up close, but the further you got away, it kind of got murkier and murkier, and that's been fixed in terms of what's really going on here, because they're using dynamicism in the world, and it's not just on the ground, as well as there's been a nice upgrade in the sky rendering. They actually discussed Guerrilla's approach to volumetric cloud rendering in the past, and let's just say that it's a remarkable system. Internally, it's known as Nubis, as it consumes a relatively high amount of GPU time, 2 milliseconds on a base PS4. Decima only renders a small portion of the clouds in one frame, but as movement is gradual, all clouds can be rendered across multiple frames. So, again, they're really excited about how this generational leap for the engine works between the PS5 and the PS4, doing things that, again, a big thing that weren't possible to do on previous consoles. This is a big reason why I upgrade. This is a big reason why so many people upgrade to the new consoles is because we're getting these situations where these games that obviously weren't really possible on the previous hardware. And so yeah, that's absolutely an amazing thing, and I can't wait to see what we're gonna see out of like Guerrilla Games and all their great studios and stuff like that. It's just really been interesting to see how far along this stuff has been able to come, and again, it's really, really impressive, and I love seeing all the coverage on it and stuff like that. And they did a fantastic job here covering a lot of this stuff. They couldn't even tell if some of it was realistic or real gameplay footage or like a cutscene. That's how good this looks. So that's really, really a lot of what they have to say about it. Like this little bit right here, it says the level of realism does make me wonder about the extent to which the Horizon Forbidden West trailer represents in-game fidelity, or whether we're looking at a cutscene specific system. For example, is the fox in the water reacting to a game-wide real-time fluid simulation, or is it pre-calculated, baked-in geometry animations made specifically for cutscenes? It could go either way, but I do expect to see improved water rendering generally, particularly as we saw improvements here between Horizon Zero Dawn and Death Stranding. In the scene where the giant mech tortoise rises from the water, the fluid displacement moves in a similar manner to the black ooze from Death Stranding. So in the character models, this is really important as well. I think the character upgrades are a little bit more modest and subtle, which is in itself not a bad thing. In the first game, they're generally great looking and almost unparalleled in Death Stranding. That said, even superb models like Aloy in the first game saw some compromise, like visible polygon edges, for example, which look much more rounder and more realistic in Forbidden West. And another upgrade is the small fuzzy hair seen on the characters. Silhouettes of Aloy are backlit when they're backlit by the sun. This is something common to humans. It is very rarely rendered in video games, as rendering budgets and art authoring really cannot afford to plaster transparency textures across the surface of skin on the character. So like basically you can see the sun shine through the ears and stuff like that. That is an incredible level of detail that these developers are really kind of putting into their game. And man, it does sound absolutely incredible, and I gotta say, I'm excited to see even more of this when it actually comes out, because they've getting me pretty hyped over what we've seen so far. And again, they go into it even more as well. They broke down everything. They're talking about like things such as small pebbles on the beach that they're on, and they said Horizon Forbidden West is doing incredible reflections and stuff like that in the foliage. The Decima flavored screen space reflection is used on reflections, but distant water, at least. And one of the last shots of the trailers, pterodactyls obscure the terrain in the distance. But it's very impressive what they've been able to see, and that does make it, for a projected 2021 release date, there's probably far more that Guerrilla can show in the not too distant future. While the launch doesn't sound too far away, that's not to say that there won't be a scope for more visual improvements along the way. The first game released in 2017, and they went hands-on with it, and it also won their best looking tech game of the year that year as well. So you guys got to remember that as well. They also kind of maybe say that this has a possibility of maybe running at 60 frames or higher. They're going to have to keep that for I guess for a different time, because we don't really know yet one way or the other if that's something that they're going to be able to accomplish. It would be quite incredible if they were able to do that, but I'm not really going to hold my breath. Again, it looks like this game started development way back, probably even started development before the game, the first game even came out. So you would expect maybe 2017 they start development on a sequel. So it might not be able to take everything that we thought we'd get from the next generation, but it is obviously doing a lot. And I think that really just goes to show that they're kind of paying attention, and that Sony's technology is further ahead than what a lot of people were thinking to begin with. And that's a very exciting prospect in and of itself. Again, what are you expecting from these next generation graphics? Like, they're already saying, hey, this Decima engine is like full on next gen and it looks incredible. I think that sounds very, very promising for what we're going to get. Again, that's not even counting stuff like the big third party engines that we're going to get, Unreal Engine 5 and things like that. Yeah, that's going to come to Xbox Series X as well. But again, the first party output, that's what really kind of translates to what we get in terms of games that really push the envelope on these hardware, especially as soon as possible right out the gate. Where Microsoft is they're forcing themselves to sort of wait a couple of years. It looks like Sony going in the opposite direction, saying, hey, take every advantage you can as soon as you can. We want to get people to switch over to the PS5. We want to get people who spend that money on a PS5 at launch to be able to get games that really take advantage of them, and I think that really plays well to a lot of people, and that's exactly what I want to hear as a fan. If I'm spending $500+ on a new PlayStation 5, I want games that can't be done on the PS4 and that aren't on the PS4, because otherwise it makes it sort of redundant. Why even have a new piece of hardware come out? Makes absolutely zero sense at all. So I would love your guys' thoughts and opinions on this. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. I want you all to please have a safe, happy, healthy day. Be kind to each other. Game on. Rack 'em up. Thank you for joining me on another video. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.